I know the reason you come to the show is you say, I want to hear about hip hop. Because I know when you think Andrew Klavan, you think hip hop. Anomaly is a hip hop artist that I met on a panel with our mutual friend, Jesse Lee Peterson. And he was so fascinating that I wanted to bring him on and talk about him. He is a news analyst, an activist, a video producer, a social media influencer, which I can say because his videos have been viewed an astonishing 250 million plus times across all the social media platforms. His music has been downloaded millions of times. He says that his mission is to restore common sense, truth, knowledge, and wisdom to the media and entertainment world. Here is a quick clip of his music, and you'll find it a little shocking.
I like Trump, I don't really give a fuck. All y'all suck, I'm too real to play it safe, you fake in front. I'm the plug, y'all just follow like some shit, do what they want. I don't jump, I'm just saying how I feel like Donald Trump. I like Trump, I like Trump, I don't really give a fuck. All y'all suck, I'm too real to play it safe, you fake in front.
I love it. Anomaly, thank you for coming on. It's great to see you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. That's a great intro. Yeah. I'm blessed.
Well, I'll tell you, I told you when we met that my musical taste stops around like Lerner and Lowe. You know? So.
Nah, you're bringing the hip hop culture back. It's a whole renaissance happening right now.
I know. I emanate hip hop. I think that's the important thing. How on earth did a hip hop guy? I mean, because I think of the hip hop guys on the left. That's the way I think of them. How did you get from the left? I mean, you must have started on the left to doing a song like that.
I never liked politics. I felt like both sides of the debate were kind of sold out for a while. I was talking kind of from an outside perspective, but as a young kid growing up, I didn't understand policies and those type of politics, so I always weighed in on it. But I thought Bernie was like a matrix breaker, gonna be the guy that Trump is now. And so I just kind of weaved in that way, and once I saw the truth, it's, I can't lie to myself. And I do want to say to a lot of hip-hop artists, a lot of them are pro-Second Amendment, and I don't think any hip-hop artists like taxes, so I'm not quite sure why they think the Democratic Party is for them. Or maybe they don't, they think they're both corrupt, but I really do think Trump is a guy who came, from the outside, and he is the guy we've been looking for, and I don't think a lot of hip-hop artists want to admit that.
See, what's amazing, you start out as Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is a socialist, the guy honeymoons in the Soviet Union. I mean, this is a guy, he's almost a character from another age, from like back in the 30s and 40s, before we found out what socialism is. What was it, though, that made you think, like, wait a minute, this is a problem, Trump is doing the right thing?
My whole thing for a decade now, I've always known the media was brainwashing people, lying, starting wars. So Bernie, his whole movement seemed to be anti-media. I never quite thought $15 hour minimum wage. Like, I was always like, oh, that's going to crush small businesses. But I was so desperate that I guess I bought into a lot of the rhetoric, and I was like, he's going to be the guy who stops the wars. He's going to be the guy who breaks the two-party system. So it was never his policies that really brought me to his side. And I didn't, to be honest, until like a year or two ago, I didn't understand like taxes and health insurance. As I got older and started learning about it via thousands of dollars being stolen from me via Obamacare, individual mandates, then I'm like, oh wait, this sucks. So it was kind of that. It wasn't his policies that I liked. And then once I learned about socialism and he showed his true colors, I was like, whoa, thank goodness that didn't work out.
What about the tone of censorship on the left, this new thing where if you say something now, or if they can find a tweet that you put out like 20 years ago that has a word in it that now they don't like, you're basically out of a job. I mean, is that something that haunts you? Does it come after you at all?
It's terrible. It hasn't affected me. I've been very lucky and fortunate as far as not really any press, and I appreciate that rather than bad press, but it's terrible. A lot of the media, I feel like, as far as the mainstream, it's mostly leftist, the whole celebrity culture, entertainment culture. And what I'm trying to get people to understand is they don't care about your race or sexual preference like they claim to. Ellen DeGeneres, now they're saying, who made her the gay pope? That's like a Washington Post. I'm like, what? You're turning on Ellen? Yeah. She shilled for your agenda for a decade. Kevin Hart, they claim like they're the saviors of the African-American community, but they're mad about a joke 10 years ago. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's ruining comedy. It's ruining free speech, and it's ruining intelligent discussion and solutions, because our feelings and words are not the big scoop here. There's people getting enslaved in other countries, and no one cares because they're mad at Rudolph. It's crazy.
Now, hip-hop emanates from the black community. I mean, so much of American music, so much great American music comes out of black music. Mm-hmm. Are you linked into that community at all? I mean, do you have friends from the black side of hip hop?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm not like Elizabeth Warren. Like I don't claim ownership over the whole community, but
you look like about a 1/220.
my political stances may have got a different crowd. But I remember a music label was interested in me, and they were treating me like very white per se. Like they were like, "Oh, we're gonna dress you up like this." It was kind of strange. But then I remember they came back to me and they're like, "The kids in Brooklyn, they know about your music," and I think I tap into real people, and I have a lot of people who started hip hop, and a lot of the people who were like involved in the very beginning of it. I've got love from Jam Master Jay's family, and a lot of really, and hip hop actually took a turn in culture. It wasn't always about what it is now. It started dancing, b-boying, graffiti, positive vibes, and it was never about this. So I think it's like forked into five, and a lot of the elements of it that are toxic were not the origins of it. But I've been blessed, and good people from every community usually reach out.
And do you get any blowback about the Trump stuff? I mean, I like Trump.
A little bit, but not really, to be honest. Like all my friends in hip hop, they're like, man, I don't like Trump, but that song really slaps. They like the song, and it's been like anytime someone gets really mad at me, it's usually someone that's whiter than I am. But or like maybe like some guy who's like 55 from San Francisco and lives on a boat or something. Like it's not really the people. I talk to people all the time. Spanish, black, this, like a lot of people know about a lot of stuff. So I'm hoping to get more hip hop interviews because I could connect and really be like, listen, I'm not trying to ruin everything. I agree with you on this, and this, but like you got to understand, if you like the Second Amendment and you like free speech and you like low taxes, the government not stealing your money, this side's not for you. They socially manipulate people to then financially and politically get them.
Well, I mean, it started out, there used to be a lot of love for Trump in rap music. I mean, they would basically point to him because he had the gold and all that stuff. He kind of had the values of rap, basically. Is that all gone? I mean, is there nothing like that anymore, or is it just gone underground? Or the people secretly supporting Trump, but not?
I mean, Kanye likes him. I have a producer that's like very successful, one of the biggest production groups ever. And he likes Trump a lot outwardly, and he tells me that a lot of people behind closed doors do. A lot of people don't, but the media push billions of dollars went into trying to tell people that Trump is racist. But if you look at it, Trump is really like a lot of rappers. Floyd Mayweather actually brought it up. He's like, man, he talks about women like rappers talk about women sometimes. He talks about, like, he's really blunt. I mean, that's what I like about a lot of rappers. They always said it like it was. So it's like, people didn't want it to come from that side, but I think Trump's also exposing a lot of like backwards, like people hate men and hate white people. And it's like, I didn't really realize how deep it was until Trump came out. He made everyone show their true colors. And you're like, a lot of it is you guys as well. It's not just from this side.
No, I think that's absolutely true. I mean, besides the taxes, which we all hate taxes, but what are the issues that really get you? I mean, what are the things where you say, like, you look at the media and think, you can't believe they're saying what they're saying?
The wars were always a big thing because I realized, I'm like, all right, we're overseas, this and that. 9/11 happened, we went over there, but Trump defunded $1 billion policy in Syria, and a lot of people don't talk about it. We were funding rebels who were fighting ISIS. ISIS is fighting Assad, and the rebels are fighting Assad. So it's a lose-lose-lose. In Libya, there's slave trade, organ harvesting, because they funded extremist rebels, and those rebels killed the leader of Libya, and then there's nothing. So it's like Syria might not be up to the greatest stuff. I have no idea what he is or isn't doing. But if you kill the leader and the only people on the ground are terrorists and extremists, it's not going to get better. And Trump, I think he's very pragmatic, and he's like, who are these people? And people are like, he's so dumb. But he's right. Who are those people? Like, he says it very basically, but he makes complete sense. So I like that he's doing that. In the media, it seems like even conservatives, besides maybe like Tucker Carlson, they're all on that. It's like one big club, and we're not in it.
I mean, somebody said recently if Trump praised air, they would stop breathing at this point. I mean,
I think so. I would say water. He says he likes water. We might have people just dehydrate like SpongeBob. It's a good strategy. Say he likes water. It's like, man, I love water. I'm going to bring water. And people, it's like, just drink water. It's okay, my man. You won't die.
I'm talking to Anomaly. Where do people find you when they want to hear your music?
It's on Spotify and everywhere. It's A0maly. Okay. It's on YouTube, Facebook, but the O is a 0. So A0maly. Instagram, Dream Rare.
Okay.
And
So now let's talk about music for a little bit, because what happened to me is I grew up listening to, my father was a DJ, and I grew up listening to the American songbook. So I grew up listening to Sinatra, and even though they were guys before my time, they kind of stuck with me. And when the music changed, I thought, no, I like this music. I just stuck with it. And so I now have the musical taste of a 115-year-old man, essentially. But I must tell you, from rap into hip hop, I was lost entirely. I do not what is this music? Can you give it a theoretical basis, so at least I can grasp it intellectually? Tell me what it's trying to do.
What I loved about hip hop when I was young, I always loved rhyming, like Shel Silverstein, where's the sidewalk ends, and I heard Eminem and Dr. Dre, forgot about Dre, and I was like, whoa, this is rhyming on steroids. And then I started getting into like some true lyricists, people like Nas. Jedi Mind Tricks is somebody who, they were talking about the wars, and a lot of these things that I talk about now, they were talking about through rap music. Vietnam War, there's a good song called Uncommon Valor by R.A. the Rugged Man and Jedi Mind Tricks, and his father was in Vietnam, and it's just like a lyrical, onslaught of like explaining Agent Orange and all the bad effects from it and stuff, and like that's what I really liked about it, the message, and I think that message gets through to a lot of people. The problem is a lot of modern rap, the message is horrible. It's like, take pills and commit suicide. And you're like, and then they're like, there's a huge opioid problem. And I'm not blaming rappers completely, but I'm like, you go to these concerts, there's millions of kids who are like, yeah. And you're like, no, that's not the right message. So I like that about it a lot. But I've been listening to a lot of like Jackson 5 and Stevie Wonder and stuff recently, because it's just like better vibes and a better message.
It's really, because you're saying basically they're like balladeers. You guys are like sort of talking in rhyme about things that really matter, and you're communicating to a large group of ordinary people, which is actually, a very creditable thing to be doing. I remember when Eminem came out, and I went and saw 9 Mile, and I got his album, and I listened to it, because I just wanted to know it. And 8 Mile, sorry.
8 Mile.
Sorry, not from Detroit.
Add a mile. We're getting our exercise on this year.
That's right. But I thought, God, this guy's so talented. But the stuff he was saying was grotesque, especially the stuff about cutting women's throats. And, it just, and I mean, is there some way to separate from that without becoming, like Christian music, this kind of bland, nothing?
With Eminem, it's funny. I loved him growing up, but now I listen to it. You're like, oh, this is really dark.
Yeah.
And now his political opinions are awful. But I think it is art in a way. But my problem is it's been done for so long that it's like, if you're saying a story that's not true and it's bad, and people are listening to that, like I know and we're responsible for a certain number of people. So I take that very seriously. If you just say like kill people, you're like, oh, I mean, that's not a good path to put people down. And a lot of rappers are like talking about pills, and then they'll say in an interview, I don't even do those pills. How could you do that with a conscience and a soul? Like tell people to do things that you're not even doing, because thousands, tens of thousands, I know people personally, hip hop producers, dead because of drugs. So it's like you're killing the kids. And I've been saying that for years, even before I got political. Like they're killing the kids via like overdose and pills and violent culture that they've, hijacked a community and told them this is who you are, and it's not a good way to be.
Yeah. Looking forward, I mean, I when I became a loudmouth conservative, it cost me big in Hollywood. I mean, I was a jobbing Hollywood screenwriter for quite a while. Basically, that was over. That part of my life was over. Looking forward, are you afraid that your career is going to suffer for this?
It's been thriving, but I'll tell you, even before I got this deep into politics, 5-6 years ago, they flew me to New York City for a record label meeting. I won't say the label. It was not even one of the big ones, independent, but pretty big. They said, don't talk about politics. So I've been told for 5-6 years not to talk about politics. I've been talking about so much stuff, even when I started, although it wasn't maybe conservative, but it was deep diving stuff. I probably blacklisted myself from the very beginning. So now that this is like a wave, I've caught that wave luckily, and it's like I couldn't do it any other way. I'm sure it has affected me, but I'm so deep in it that like since the beginning they were like, oh, this kid looks good, but like talk about women and drugs and shut up. Like, and they like I've literally heard that. Like talk about women. I'm like 20. I'm like I don't love anyone yet. I can't make up. I gotta love someone and then I can write a love song. I can't make it up and wear like Abercrombie. Like they literally like let's wear like Abercrombie. They wanted to make me like a white superstar. And I was like, I was talking about George Bush and like the Iraq war. They were like, yo, shut up.
I'm telling you, I think it is so important what you're doing. I really do. I mean, I think that this fight, the fight to be able to have a voice in the arts, which makes all the difference, is where all opinions are actually originally shaped. Is everything, and conservatives are really bad at it. And it takes guys like us who are red-pilled, basically who have come over from the other side, or else it's never going to happen. Anomaly, great stuff. Find you on Spotify. Find you on
Spotify, title, my Facebook page too. Anomaly, A-N-0-M-A-L-Y. I'm everywhere. And nowadays it's like the music was always doing well, but now the news thing, like a lot of people are like, I didn't even know you rap when I come out with a song. And it's okay, because even with the music, what I always wanted to do was like spread a message. So once I could sit on my couch and do it, I was like, oh, this is even easier. So, and I don't have to deal with like all the, bro, you want to collab? People in my DMs, trying to make, I'm like, what does that mean? They want, collab, like make a pitch. But jokes aside, just find me anywhere.
All right. It's great talking to you.
Thank you.
I want to finish by going back to this Kevin Hart thing. I've been